Hey guys, hope everyone's had a good start to the week. We've got a little bit of a different video in this one. Firstly, I'll just be going over my team plans for this week moving forward. Should be brief, but nothing's ever really brief on this channel, for better or for worse. And then I've got a breakdown of the premium options moving forward. So not necessarily this week, but I'm sure a few of you guys, including myself, will be looking at those premiums. From now on, it's pretty much premiums or cash downs. So like the trade targets videos aren't as needed much. I'll probably get one out still, but yeah, I just wanted to break down the premium options, how I view them. So I've ranked them from 1 to however many I view. I've only done the forwards in this one, so hookers, mids, and edges. They do take a little bit of time to film these videos. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying this one, I'll get that one out for the backs probably tomorrow or Wednesday. But yeah, the only way I can see if you like it is through engagement. So likes, comments, whatever. We're closing in on 500 subs. We're 21 away. So hopefully we can hit that over the next couple of days. That will be a huge milestone for me. Yeah, obviously I started this channel out as a bit of a joke at the start of the year, or not even the start of the year, probably around 10ish. I think it was on Anzac Day. So yeah, you guys have been awesome. But yeah, just let me know if you like this sort of video, because then I'll get it out for the backs over the next couple of days. But yeah, going through my team plans, I've got 10 keepers, I think. Where is it? Oh, where am I going? I've got 10 keepers playing this week, plus potentially Haas without any trades, but 900k in the bank, so I can do whatever I want. I'm potentially going for Cleary and Herbie at this stage, but obviously it's going to depend on how Origin goes on Wednesday. Yeah, like I probably want Cleary because I don't want to play Latu Fainu or Adam Dewey if I can avoid it, because yeah, my goal is just get premiums in as early as possible. Herbie I don't need, because with my team construction, I've made those 2 trades at the moment, and Drinkwater's on the bench, so he's playing the doggies, so it's not necessarily bad, but I'm hoping Ethan King misses out on Origin. I hope he misses out for the Roosters team this week, because then I'll have a loop option and winger fullback, and then I'll be able to justify getting Herbie in, because he's the first game of the week. So yeah, I have to commit to him straight away, essentially. And if I can loop in my winger fullback, that would be awesome, because I don't even know who I'd loop at this stage, but I just like having loops in my team. The other one on the trade block is Damien Cook. I think I'd like to see another week of him if he's playing 80 minutes. They almost won, I think. They just lost this week. Can't even remember. I only care about fantasy scores, really. But I think it was a close game, and he played 80 minutes. So I would expect that to likely continue. I mean, they were missing a few guys, but they're still going to continue to miss a few, like in Couchmans and stuff like that. I think Hamish Stewart's back this week, but yeah, their forward pack isn't the strongest at the moment. I do think he plays close to 80. And if he is, he's probably a borderline keeper. So potentially keep him, but if not, like I can't loop at hooker because I don't have any hookers that aren't playing this week, unless I guess Cook or Brayley or Aaron Clark are somehow not named or whatever. But yeah, I could either do him to a mid if I want to, so I can get a Yo, Carrigan, whoever I want, essentially. I'll see how they go through Origin. If Yo plays like 45, 50 minutes, I'll probably pick him up, potentially for Cook, and then I'll have 13 keepers playing and a 14th on the bench. So that would put me in a really strong position. I'd like to get to 13 keepers, but if my only non-keeper is Cook, I'm okay with that. So yeah, I should have a strong team this week. Not many loop options because I'm trading out a lot of those guys, but I still will be able to loop in some degree. Haas is the last game, so I can't loop him, but yeah, I'll see what I can do anyway. But yeah, for me, my team's pretty set now. I can get to my essential, not final team, but a very strong 17 over the next 2 weeks, and I could even do it this week if I wanted to, but I probably don't want to do that with guys backing up from Origin. But that's just my team. Yeah, it's pretty strong, but I moved into the top 600 just about. I was, 615 or something when I filmed the video last night, but updates got me to 595 and then dropped to 599 this morning. So Ethan King did get his try assist, which is awesome. So he got up to 35, and then I think Eli Katoa lost 2 points and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm happy with where my team's at. Hopefully we can push through the ranks with everyone starting to go down, like in trades with like 0 or 1 left. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge as it comes. Onto the actual video now. So I'll start with hookers. So this is in order. So I do have Connor Watson as a better pickup than Grant. I'll say a few things about these lists. So they're not going to include must-haves or guys that are 90+% owned, because I don't think it's really relevant talking about them. Like Aaron Clark's clearly the premium option in hooker. Is it worth talking about him when he's 95% owned? Probably not. So yeah, I've omitted him because he's a must-have. I'll talk about the must-haves when I go down to each position, but yeah, I'm not going to talk about him. These are really the only two premium options. I'm not going to talk about keepers in this one, or like keepers or fringe keepers. So in mid, for example, I'm not talking about Adam Fanua-Blake. I'm not talking about Horsburgh because they're not premium options. They are potentially keepers, absolutely, but this is just for premium players. This isn't a perfect list. I haven't done too many categories, but I will talk about each player individually as well on footy statistics and how I got to that projected average. It doesn't include, what doesn't it include? It does include a game where they back up from Origin. So let's say Connor Watson's playing 80 minutes every game and he plays I project him to play 60 backing up from Origin. It does roll into his projected average. So if I project him to score 60 in 7 games, then 40 in the game is backing up, that is rolled in. What else doesn't it include? There's one other thing. It doesn't include dual position. So I haven't used that to weigh my assessment. So in Edge, I haven't included like Beau Fermor's centre dual as a metric for where I ranked him on the list, I guess. Obviously, on a team-dependent basis, that will improve where they're ranked. So if you are thin on centres and edge, then maybe Fermor has a bit more value than a Hudson Young. But yeah, that's just little things. But I'll talk about some like pros and cons when I get to each one. But yeah, I do have Connor Watson slightly ahead of Harry Grant. At the moment, he's a cheaper price per point. The other thing I don't include is their break-evens and stuff. We'll talk about them briefly as well, but like you can obviously get some of these guys at a cheaper price point in the next couple of weeks. Like if Tino has a 75 break-even, you can wait a couple of weeks to get him potentially. But yeah, it's just based on where they're priced at this current point, for their current average, because yeah, I'm not weighing into what they're going to score this week and what their future break-even will be, because it just gets too messy. So yeah, hopefully that all makes sense. I didn't explain that very well, I'll be honest. But yeah, I do have Connor Watson slightly ahead. I do think at some stages you need to get the premium option, like the guy who's going to score more. That does carry a lot of weight for me, and especially if they're only 30k difference. Like if that was 100k difference, then Harry Grant probably wins out. I do project Connor Watson to score 3-ish points above Harry Grant from here on out. And yeah, I guess I'm not being biased towards any of these guys, but I do have them higher points based on where they're averaging now, I guess, like they're projected. Why can't I get to the tab? So yeah, I guess I'll talk about Connor Watson first. I use this season's data for all of these guys as well as historical data, so their last full season in the role or the last one or two, and then just generated points per minute and expected minutes based off that. So yeah, we can see he's averaging 54.8 this year, but he had that one game where he played 39 minutes when he had the concussion. One of these games, this one, he played halves for 76 minutes or so. So yeah, even if you look at 70 plus minutes, he averages 58.5. Obviously he had 2 tries in one of those games, but like he's scoring a try every second game. So that is why I didn't rank him higher, I guess. But last year he averaged 58 as well. Yeah, 57.8. And yeah, that 58.5 is slightly high because this game was at halves and his tackle count was a lot worse. And he did score a try and stuff, but I mean, that did bring his average down. So I think he averages like 59.5 or 60 without that. Last year, 57.8. Sorry, let's go to hooker. Yeah, 58.8. So it's around about there. So this one didn't require too much difference. I do expect him to play about 65 minutes this week. And then moving forward, I do expect him to play 80. They have had a few hookers stand up pretty well over the last couple of weeks, but Watson usually moves to mid or like lock when one of those guys come on, and they're very thin on forwards at the moment. I don't project Radley to come back into a big minute lock role. They obviously have Blake Steep, Nafahu White, stuff like that who can cover, like Fiketti. But yeah, they are a bit thinner than they were at the start of the season. So I do think Watson plays 80 most games, if not every game. And yeah, I think a 58 is a pretty sound average for him. He's averaging 58.4 historically over the course of his career. Last year the same, this year the same. So yeah, I do think 58 is a very reasonable score, and that puts him at a premium option. His price at 50. Was it 50? Yeah, 50, I think. Harry Grant. So what did I predict him? 55, I think. Yeah, 55, which might seem a little bit generous. He's averaging 49.8 this year. He backed up and played 80 in round 16 after game 2. I don't necessarily think he plays 80 this game. Oh, I've gone over 70 minutes. I don't necessarily think he plays 80. I don't think he plays 55. I think somewhere between 60 to 70, maybe on the 60 to 65 side, just because last game, like they probably didn't want to play him 80, but they just had to. So yeah, I think this game, like I wouldn't be rushing to get him in if you're getting him in. If you're getting him in over Watson, I wouldn't be rushing to do it this week. He's only got a 45 break even. You can wait and see. A lot of these guys are backing up, so it makes it hard. But yeah, his points per minute is 0.63 this year. Last year it was 0.71, 0.76, 79, 91, 85. So I gave him 0.7 or 0.71 and about 78 minutes, I believe. I haven't written it down anywhere. I did all the tables just before I went to the dog park with my little Cocker Spaniel, and then I'm coming back into this. So apologies if I'm not 100% accurate with the metric I used to get there, but it was either 0.7 or 0.71, which I think is fair historically. Obviously, I don't expect him to get back to 0.85, 0.91, but 0.71 is his second worst, and that's where I'm projecting him. So I think 55 is super reasonable. I expect he plays 80 minutes almost every game. And yeah, 52.6 last year, 59, 60, 59. So yeah, I think 55 is reasonable. He is a bit lower this year, but I mean, he's missing more tackles, slightly less tackles per game. The run meters are slightly down. So they're all tangible things that could obviously increase across the season. I do think he's more of a risk of missing a game through rest than Connor Watson is. The Storm have the tendency to do it. They're usually in a better ladder position, as they are this year. So yeah, guys like him, Eli Katoa, Munster, Hughes probably miss a game somewhere throughout the season. That isn't factored into this either because that's a pure guessing game. So yeah, I think Connor Watson is the better option over Grant for only 30k cheaper. I don't know if you'd get Watson in this week because there's every chance he starts off the bench. And even if he starts off the bench, he probably plays 60 or 65 anyway. But yeah, I'd absolutely be looking at him in round 19, and I hopefully will be getting him in round 20, and I'll hopefully be getting him in there as well. Both of them have no buys remaining, which is good as well, obviously. So that the buys are a consideration as well, which I'll get into when we have guys on buys, but that didn't change things here. But yeah, Connor Watson pretty clearly the better option over Grant for me. He does have dual as well. He's the more premium option, only slightly more expensive, and Grant may be slightly generous at 55, whereas Connor Watson, that's historically, that's what he's averaged every year. So that is a bit more of a true, accurate projection, I guess. Moving on to mids. So yeah, again, this is ranked in order. So I have Yo as the standout one here, followed by Tino. So yeah, he's obviously the cheapest on this list. He's the cheapest. He's not the cheapest price per point at the moment. He's not. He will be, based on my projections for him, he will be the cheapest price per point. But yeah, I'll get into him in a sec, and then Carrigan, and then Tarpanay last. A big factor for this is the 2 buys remaining, but he is the cheapest price per point at the moment. So if you have him, I wouldn't be looking to sell him for one of these guys. After doing this, I'm slightly considering selling him. We are jam-packed at mid. So guys that didn't make this list, Terrell May, Payne Haas. Who's the third one? Oh my God, this is terrible. Who the heck is the third one? Terrell May, Payne Haas. Oh, Kalamatangi. So yeah, those 3 guys are all very highly owned, or Haas and May are clearly the premium options you want, and Kalamatangi is like 98, 99% owned. So yeah. I mean, if you don't have one of those, I'd be willing to sell Tarpanay up to them, but I wouldn't be doing it for one of these 3. But yeah, the 2 buys is a heavy consideration. His minutes, I don't recall exactly what the press conference was yesterday, but they alluded to Ricky was saying he's going to be playing, or he played the bench guys a bit more just in case he needs to later in the season. But they're massive favourites for minor premiership. There might be an opportunity where they can rest Tarpanay in future games, but I'm of the belief he's coming off a bye as well. He had the finger injury, the dislocation, so that probably factored in a little bit. They have a bye this week, so if you can give him a rest, you may as well. Then that's 1 week of lower minutes, like 30 minutes, and then going into the bye, and then he should be refreshed coming out of that. So yeah, over the next couple of weeks after the bye, I do think Tarpanay crushes it minutes-wise. But yeah, the 2 buys is a heavy consideration. If you're desperate for players this week, especially mids, then you can look to offload them. But yeah, again, I wouldn't be doing it for any of these guys, especially since this week is probably the last week you'd want to get off Tarpanay, and these guys are all backing up. And also Tarpanay is so cheap comparatively to where he's priced at the moment. So clearly the cheapest on this list. So yeah, I wouldn't be looking to offload him, but I'll get into all these guys, I guess. So Yo's averaging 59.6 at the moment, and then I project him to average 63 moving forward. Again, that does consider that he's going to score worse this year. So I think I had him at 64-ish in the other games. So and like a 45, 50, I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it factors in. That is not correct at all. Let me quickly do the maths on that because that is clearly not correct. Divided by 63. 11,800, sorry. Apologies for that. So yeah, that would make him the second cheapest price per point, but he's very clearly the best premium on the board out of these 3 guys. He's 6 points above the next best, and Carrigan's the third on my list. So yeah, pretty comfortable in that projection. He obviously crushed it at the end of last season as well, but I don't factor in when they scored their points because it doesn't really mean much to me. Yeah, in the backing up from Origin, he played 68 minutes. He averages 61 for the year on a 0.76 points per minute, 0.85 last year, 8.1, 7.6, 7.4. So yeah, I do have him at 63. A lot of that was last season as well, averaging 66, but then 64 the year before. And yeah, I expect him to play close to 80 every game moving forward. The Panthers aren't as comfortable as they have been in previous years. They're 6th at the moment or something like that. But usually they're 2-3 games ahead, so they can afford to rest Yo in some of those games where, as this year, they need to win every single game. So yeah, I'm very comfortable in a 63 projection, including Origin backing up, so 64-ish apart from this week. His break-even's pretty close to where he's priced at. Priced at 56 and you're getting a 63, 64 average. I think he's a no-brainer. I was potentially looking at not even bringing him in because of how many mids we have, but with Couchman going down, I think we've had someone else go down as well. Tarpanay not performing as well. I think it is important to get Yo. Haas also carrying an injury. So yeah, I think Yo's a no-brainer. I wouldn't call him a must-have because there's so many mids, but for me, I will absolutely be looking to get him in. I can afford to pay a little bit more because I have structured my team that way, but yeah, if you can't get him, that's fine, but he's pretty comfortably the best player on my list here. Tino at second most and the cheapest player. Yeah, he's not projected to average much more than his current average, but I think he's priced a little bit lower as well. He's priced at 48, so I mean that's an 8.7 projection higher than where he's averaging at the moment, which is almost cash cow level, or like when you'd bring someone in for that. He's carrying a 70 break even, so I wouldn't be doing it this week, especially backing up where he only played 37 minutes after game 2. So yeah, I don't know. He has been carrying a sternum injury, no, a rib injury, something. He's been carrying an injury over the last month or so, but NRL physio said that he's feeling better now after that. So yeah, it's still going to be weighing on him, especially backing up from Origin. So I'd absolutely not be picking him up this week, but from round 20 onwards, maybe even round 21 for him, depending on how many minutes he plays, what his break even is, I think he's a great option. And he's second on my list at this price, and he's probably going to get closer to 600K. So yeah, absolute no-brainer for me. Whether we can get him in or not is the next question. Is it worth bringing in 2 mids? I'm not sure, and I'd much rather get Yo in than him. But I think at that price, he's going to be so tempting. You can move Koloamatangi down to edge, and then it's okay having a couple of mids on the bench. Like, you'll have some dual position guys as well, like Aaron Clark, Connor Watson, I don't know, Dylan Lucas. I don't know. There's heaps of duals this year. So, yeah, I'd be comfortable carrying a couple of mids on the bench. Sorry, they're the most reliable position, or one of the most reliable positions. And at that price, he's going to be one of those underpriced premium options that you can bring in that's going to really help your getting to your maximum team of 18 keepers or 18 keepers / premiums. So, yeah, I think I'm really comfortable in that projection. I do think he plays less minutes this week, and then moving forward, he's averaging 58.3 this year. last year didn't play, obviously. 63 the year before, 55.6, 49. So, I mean, I was pretty generous giving him a 56.7 point average, considering that's the worst he's performed over the last couple of years. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. He's quite comfortably the second best option on this list, mainly due to his price, but also no buys left as well, whereas the other two guys do have buys. So Carrigan's probably the one you're tossing up between Tino or Carrigan. He's a lot more expensive at the moment. He does have a buy. He's backing up from Origin, but I think he's playing on the bench this week, isn't he, for Queensland again? I would assume. I can't remember. So, yeah, like maybe he does play bigger minutes this week, like when he's backing up for the Broncos, especially if Payne Haas misses or he's on a lesser minute role. But yeah, just I think Tino's quite comfortably the better option. I project Paddy to average 57, which is very, very similar to Tino. He has a buy and is more expensive. So yeah, like I'll dive into him a little bit, but yeah, I don't love him as an option. He will be a nice pod, which like pods don't really mean anything, but it can be a fun one to have. And if you're chasing ranks, then maybe he's a good option. Like that boosts his value as well. But yeah, in terms of true value, it doesn't do anything. It's just based on team construction. Obviously, his minutes are a bit more all over the place. He's played some 75, some 55, and that's in just random games where he's not backing up. So it is harder to project him, what he'll score. But I mean, even if he's playing 60 plus minutes every week, which he doesn't do, like he does have those lower minute games. He averages about 57-ish. So yeah, I couldn't give him a bigger boost than that really, just based on him having the lower minute games where I guess with Yo, he's playing 80 most weeks. Tino, he's probably not going below 55, 60, and his points per minutes is a little stronger. So yeah, not interested in Carrigan, especially if you're carrying Yo as well. Not Yo. Carrying Haas as well. That's two Broncos mids missing the same week. So that does make it tricky. You'd probably have to play a less than premium or keep a level mid in your team unless you're stacked with mids. So that is also another consideration. And honestly, he could probably be below Tarpanay on this list, thinking about that factor. But yeah, I'd try to not include that in there. But yeah, Tarpanay, he's the lowest on this list, but he's not worth upgrading to these guys at least. He's the only one that I project to average less than he has at this stage of the season. He obviously came out guns a-blazing and we all picked him up around the bye period. But his points per minute is just electric, 1.12. That is the highest it's ever been. So one last year. He gets up there in a couple of the years, but it's usually hovering around 1. And in 51 minutes, if it's anywhere down that, he's not going to average more than low 50s. We've obviously seen the 29-minute game. That won't continue. When he's playing 40-plus minutes, his point per minute stays the same, and it's 58.7. But yeah, I had to degrade him a little bit just based on his historical points per minute. So yeah, I think I was fair in my assessment. But it's just the two buys that are really tough. Like he's missing this week and then another one later in the season when most people won't have trades. So if you have a few injuries in your mids or just in general, you're going to be missing him. And it's just a tough one. Like you probably don't have many other Raiders at that point, which is good. But yeah, it is still a tough buy to have. And just the fact there's two, maybe it just degrades him on this list. But yeah, again, I'm slightly considering trading him, but I don't really need to. Like I can get to my final team without doing that pretty comfortably. So yeah, I just think it's a luxury trade. So if you have 6-7 trades left, then by all means upgrade him to a better guy. But yeah, in most circumstances, I would just look to keep him. Moving on to edge, and yeah, maybe a controversial one up top. I've got Angus Crichton. So obviously we're all stacked with edges. Like most of us have Dylan Lucas. He's the only one I didn't include because he's a must-have and very highly owned, but the rest are not as highly owned. Obviously Preston and Katoa are like 50% now, but that still leaves 50% of teams that need him. So Crichton, he's clearly the cheapest on this list, but nothing much separates these guys. So his 55.5 projection for me, that's only 2.5 worse than the best guys. And at that price point, if you can save 100 plus K to get him in, I think it is worth it. He is like more up and down. Like that might be a generous projection at 55.5, but it's not unreasonable. But his floor is the lowest out of these guys, and his ceiling is not necessarily the highest. So, yeah, I think he can get to a 55. And sorry, I should have said earlier, but this projected average is the games moving forward as well. It doesn't factor in their previous games. So it doesn't include their average of 49.9 so far. It's just the 7, 8, 9 games they have left in the game. I hope that was clear. But yeah, I mean, he's clearly the cheapest. I just think he's going to be the best value for money. No buys left. I think I have him above Preston for those reasons. He's got a break even of 43, so you'd probably have to get him pretty soon. You can probably wait another week, but he does back up playing 80 minutes. He did so in both those games, or 80 and 73 minutes, which is totally fine. And again, the Roosters are missing Siwa Wong in this team. They have Egan Butcher, who wasn't amazing. Fiketti, who wasn't amazing either. Fiketti was good, but he moved to the mid for a while there as well, and I don't think his first choice. So yeah, I do think Gus plays 80 in his backup game. His stats aren't too dissimilar from previous. So he averaged 55 last year, but even better when he played 80. When he played in the second row, Yeah, 59.1. Look at the base is the same. So 0.7 less tackles, 0.7 less tackle breaks, 5 less meters, so 0.5 points. The offloads are down by 0.6. The missed tackles are down by 0.4, but it's really the tries. So he got 0.6 a game last year, 0.1 this year, and he's more of a try scorer than that. He will get those tries. He's got a fairly soft draw, Manly, Dragons, Para, Melbourne, who might be resting some guys, the Bunnies. He's going to score more than one try over that period, you'd have to imagine. So even if that goes up to 0.2, 0.3, that's going to boost his score. He only has 9 games left to play. So if you get 2, 3 tries in that time, it's really going to boost his average. Try assist, 0.1 down from 0.3 last year. So it's just those attacking stats. And yeah, I do think there's every opportunity for those to increase. So I think he's the top of my list. He doesn't have the most historical data out of anyone, 59 last year, but then 55, then 59. No, he does actually. He was actually really good back in the day. I do remember that. Yeah, this is clearly his worst season in quite a while. I do think he plays 80 every week. The Roosters pack is a little bit worse. So he's a bit of a suspension risk. He's had a few, elbows to the head and stuff, fens. He is a bit of a grub. Not saying he's dirty, but he's kind of dirty. But yeah, those guys with suspension risks do weigh them down a little bit, but they're not factored into this list. And just that price point, I don't think you can do much better on the edge. I would potentially be looking to bring him in this week if I needed an edge, but I just don't because I'm stacked there at the moment because I do have Beau Fermor. But if you don't, I think he's the number one guy on my list here by quite a comfortable margin as well. Jacob Preston, second on the list. He's got no buys, and I do project him to be the best edge this year. I did at the start of the year. That's why I had him, and that is a massive consideration. You're getting, you want the premiums in, and you want the best of the premiums if you can. So a lot of the time, just being the best in your position is enough. It doesn't, nothing else matters. Obviously, if there's 200K difference, it's gonna be up for debate. But at the end of the day, you're chasing points, and Preston for me is the number one guy. So I do think he's second on the list, and you could make the argument that he's first, but the difference in price is massive, and the difference in my projected points personally isn't that big. Yeah, no buys, same as Crichton, same as 4 guys on this list. He had the 29 last week. I'm absolutely not concerned at all. Averaging 56.6 this year. Last year was much the same, 57.9. And then the year before, 54.5. But that was his first real year in the NRL. So, yeah, I'm not concerned by last week's game. His try scoring is phenomenal. That will probably continue at 0.5. He had 0.3 last year. He's more comfortable in that position this year. The Bulldogs are a better team. He can create tries for himself. He had 1 or 2 from dummy half, Herbie Farnworth and stuff. Guys that do that, their floor is a bit lower for their tries. So I would fully expect him to score 3, 4, 5 more tries for the season. And yeah, that's all he needs to do to keep up that average really. So yeah, not concerned. I think 58 is a pretty comfortable projection and might be on the slightly low side. I think there's every path where he can average 59 or 60 for sure. And it's such a small sample size as well. Like, obviously, well, 2/3 of the way through the year, like 7, 8, 9 games, he could easily average 70. He could easily average 55. It's such a small sample size where one big game is going to be a massive difference. And I think having that upside really helps that as well. So someone like Crichton does have the upside, but Preston, this year at least, is more likely to score 2, 3 tries in a game, get 7, 8 tackle breaks. And if he scores 101 game, then that's going to really boost his average from now on, because it's a small sample size. So that is a consideration as well. By Fermor, so yeah, here's the dual, obviously, the only dual on this list. But again, that's not a consideration just because I wanted this to be unbiased. I do have him at 56.5 points per game. He's averaging 60 this year in the second row, but that is boosted by his 100 score. So, I think 56.5 is a fair projection. He is about middle of the park in every metric on this list. He's one of the cheapest, second cheapest behind Gus. But the centre dual does certainly help, but a lot of us have Dylan Lucas as well. Not centre. Second row, he averages 60.5 this year, which is huge. He's been really good. Like, his worst game is 44, which is outstanding. But last year he only averaged 50, I think it was. 49.8 at second row. Before that, it was 51.8, 41.5. So I did have to downgrade him slightly. Nothing about this is unsustainable. The 0.5 tries probably a little bit. I think it was 0.3 last year as well, 0.2 even last year. The Titans aren't a great side. Bo Fermor, like Tallis Duncan, is such a strong ball runner where he's going to get those opportunities. They look for him a lot. They've dilly-dallied between Campbell and Foran on that side a few times this year, just in mid-game as well, not necessarily the full game, but they both do swing to both sides. But they're two good halves to feed him the ball, so he's going to score those tries. But the Titans, they're an attacking team, but they're not a good team. So, I did have to downgrade him, but the base isn't. I didn't downgrade him at all. He's averaging less tackles than last year, where he averaged 50, slightly better run meters, less tackle breaks. The offloads are slightly up, but all of that is sustainable in my eyes. So, I gave him a 56.5. I couldn't decide between 56 and 57, so I gave him halfway. I'm not just making up these numbers as well. He doesn't play Origin, so that was easier, but I've already explained it. I'm not going to explain it again. Eli Katoa is fourth on my list. So, at present, I have my third and fourth favourites on this list, and that doesn't factor in Dylan Lucas, but they're not going anywhere. I'm not going to get the premiums in all positions, the upper end of the premiums in all positions. I'm comfortable with these guys, and they are keepers in my team, regardless of if I prefer Angus Crichton or Preston. Katoa, I have him at 55 points, so pretty standard for where he's priced, where he's scoring this year. He's priced a little bit lower at 52. There's not much I could have changed here. I would expect him to rest one game throughout the year. Just if the Storm are comfortable in first or second, probably second, because the Raiders have locked that up, essentially. His historical data isn't the best, 52 last year, 46. But I think this year is more real. He's attacking the ball more. We saw in Jeremiah Nanai a couple of years ago that he was just scoring every game because he was attacking 3-4 balls, if not more, a game. So I think that try scoring is real at 0.5, if not slightly more even. Nothing about anything else says that's not sustainable. His tackle count down from last year at 1.1 down. His run meter slightly up, which means his tackle breaks are the same actually. His offloads are up by 1. But I've said it a few times, I think offloads are up as a whole this year, so I don't degrade them for having a big increase like that this year, because we've seen guys like Herbie Farnworth, Kiraz, Marzu at the start of the year who have massively increased, even Payne Haas, and then that has stuck. So I'm not degrading him down to what he was last year because it's a massive increase. So I think 55 is a decent projection for him. His upside, maybe not too strong because he had 2 try assists, a line break last week and only got a 66. So I think there are other guys with higher upside, but a 55 is fine for me. Doesn't have a bye, but he's just the worst of these 5 points wise. He's not the cheapest by, he's middle of the park there. So yeah, pretty comfortably fourth for me. And Hudson Young is last. He's carrying an injury at the moment, which is a slight factor. He's got 2 buys remaining, and that's the big one. All the other edges don't have any buys. And if it was one difference, maybe he'd be somewhere else on the list. But the fact it's 2 is massive. And he cannot be anywhere but 5th for me. He's also the most expensive by a country mile. And at most, he's 3 better than the next best, the worst option. So, yeah, like it's a pretty no-brainer that he's last for me. I do think he's exceeding expectations this year, averaging 61.4, but playing 80, it's even better at 63.8. And yeah, that's a pretty big discount for where he's priced at. He's priced at 58 with a high break even. So chances are you'll be able to buy him at 54, 55, especially if he backs up in a smaller role this week. Sorry, he's not playing this week, actually. They have a bye. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's massively overs for where he's done in the past. Like last year was 53, and I believe that was his next best. Yeah, I mean, he has averaged 59 in 2021, but that's a long time ago in fantasy. So yeah, I had to degrade him just based on his historical points per minute. His his tries are up this year. I honestly don't think they decrease too much. Just like Eli Katoa, who chases the high balls, Hudson Young chases every grubber in the world, and they put them in for him all the time. So he's going to get those tries. So yeah, 0.8's high, but I don't think it's too high, if that makes sense. But yeah, I can't see him averaging 64, especially carrying a pretty nasty injury. That shouldn't affect his play time. It shouldn't affect him being out, but apparently it's painful plus, which, I mean, just by the sounds of it, it sounds painful. So yeah, even without that, it's just clearly way better than his next best season. Even if you go back to 2021 where he's averaging 59, I just can't see it. A 60-plus average for the rest of the season. Yeah, I don't know. I had to have him 5th on this list, which, yeah, maybe it's not biased, but it may be a bit rough, but it's just the 2 buys mainly, more than anything. So hopefully this is explained pretty well. I don't know. It's a bit hard to explain, but yeah, I don't know. It's different content at least. Hopefully I explained it okay and you guys did enjoy that. Let me know because I will do one for the backs over the next 2 days as well. But until then, we'll see you next time and good luck with your trades. Bye.